Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
This is Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip. Love, peace, and hair grease. Yeah, you know I'm shooting straight from the hip.
Let's take a trip around the curve.
Hampton, but we the real HU. Hi, everybody. It's your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Critic. This is episode over 200 of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I am your host, Carla Renata, and what we do here is we speak to people above and below the line in the film industry, and along the way, we do a few film reviews. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks, so I have a lot to get into, and I don't want to waste any of your time. I'm going to, and we also do a segment here called Around the Curve. We have the Curvy Classic, and we have a lot of interviews, a lot of interviews and Oscars and South by Southwest and all of that. So without further ado, let us go ahead and take a trip around the curve. King Richard's Ronaldo Marcus Green is set to write, direct, and produce a family dramedy for Lionsgate. Brazilian actress Bruno Marquezine, Belisa Escobedo, and Harvey Guillen have joined the cast of Blue Beetle, DC Films' first superhero starring a Latino character. Oscar nominee and Tony winner Sofia Canedo is joining the international thriller Heart of Stone starring Gal Gadot. Michelle Dockery joins the action thriller Boy Kills World. Dune Part 2, Austin Butler is eyed to play Fade Rata in the upcoming sequel. Jaime Camil signs his first look deal with VIS and Paramount Plus. ESPN has announced programming for 50-50, highlighting the civil rights journey of women across the sports and cultural landscape. The initiative commemorates the 50th anniversary of the passing of Title IX, the federal civil rights law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in any educational institution. Portier and his trailblazing contemporaries are having a 4-week 42 film festival tribute to him and black actors of his generation, with films featuring Ivan Dixon, Frederick O'Neill, Harry Belafonte, and many others. Select screenings will be introduced by series co-programmer, author, and film historian Donald Bogle. Warner Brothers has made a slew of release date moves. DC Super Pets moves from May 20th to July 29th. Shazam! Fury of Gods moves up from June 2nd, 2023 to December 16th, 2022. And also on the move is this year's Dwayne Johnson-led Black Adam from July 29th to October 21st. Pamela Anderson makes her Broadway debut as Roxy Hart in Chicago from April 12th through Sunday, June 5th, and her documentary from Ask Dr. Ruth director Ryan White is headed to Netflix. Ariel Winter is set to star in the NBC comedy pilot Hungry, replacing Demi Lovato. I Am Legend Next Chapter. Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan are set to star and produce for the first time together. Beats, Timbaland, and Lethal Wayne team for the Amazon documentary Gifted in Black. Shanola Hampton is to headline and produce the NBC pilot Found. George Clooney's The Boys in the Boat adds Cobra Kai star Courtney Hengler. Mary J. Blige is set to executive produce Real Love, an original film for Lifetime TV. The Court Theater gets a brand new name. It will now be called the James Earl Jones Theater, which is being renamed for him. Barbie, Ariana Greenblatt joins the Margot Robbie, Warner Brothers, Mattel, and Lucky Chop pick. Oscar nominee Andrew Garfield is slated to star in FX true crime thriller Under the Banner of Heaven in April 2022. King Richard breakout star Demi Singleton signs with WME. Smithsonian Channel and Oprah team on a new documentary tackling racial disparities in healthcare. Oscar is less than a week away, and winners have been announced from everything from the WGA to Critics' Choice, but not without controversy. Academy has cut 8 key categories from the Oscar broadcast, and it is not being met well. Coda, Will Smith, and Ariana DeBose and Jane Campion have emerged as the choice for the SAG, Critics' Choice, and BAFTAs, among others. Stay tuned for my coverage of the Oscars and South by Southwest 2022 recap, along with interviews from Jordy Stank from I Am Here and TCM's Dave Karger on this episode of The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Whew, I know that was a lot of news, and that's not all, you guys. This week, actually over the weekend, Rachel Zegler, who starred as Maria in West Side Story, was not invited to the Oscars. How are you going to be Maria in West Side Story and the film is nominated and you not invited? I'm protesting for you, girl. And Francis Ford Coppola, the director of The Godfather, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. He received his star on the Walk of Fame. Congratulations, Francis Ford Coppola. I look forward to speaking to you someday. All right. So now, before I get into the rest of the show, what I usually do is I talk about my week before. I tell you guys, if you're on YouTube, give me a big thumbs up. Let me know you were here. Subscribe if you want to subscribe to the channel. You never know what you might miss. And click that bell for notifications so that you know when I do go live, whenever I go live here on YouTube, Facebook, and the Twitter. All right, I got to shout out my boy Brandon. He's true blue, my boy Brandon. And he told me that he wanted to stop by to tell me that he absolutely loved Pixar's Turning. He also wanted to say that the next two movies that he's going to see are, he's going to go see Batman's Sonic 2 and DreamWorks The Bad Guys in April. So am I. And he's also going to check out that he says that he's mad that the Super Pets got delayed, but it's not that bad. It's just till July. But thank you, Brandon, for joining us as always. I love you so much. You're such a true blue dude. Love it. So this past week, and the reason I wasn't here is because I had gone to the Critics' Choice Awards, which was a blast. It was a stone cold blast, honey. And I had a great time. I ran into my good friend Kristen Chenoweth. We hadn't seen each other forever. The last time I saw her was on Zoom. So we're trying to give each other a little kiss in that blue tinted room, which makes me look all kinds of wrong colors, and her too. But at least we got to see each other. Ran into Lin-Manuel Miranda at the after party. He snapped this selfie of us after we reminisced about being part of the Broadway Bowling League back in the day. Ran into Hallie Sahar, who played Lulu on Pose. That outfit was absolutely fabulous, honey. And the girls from Pose turned up. They turned all the way up for the after party at Critics' Choice. And there's so many more awards that happened over the weekend, in which the ACE, well, not over the weekend, but the ACE Eddie Awards had King Richard, Tick Tick Boom, and Encanto take top honors. The IDA Awards, the International Documentary Awards, awarded Flea the top honors. Summer of Soul nabbed 3 awards. Nightmare Alley and No Time to Die also won top feature prizes at the 26th Annual Excellence in Production Design Awards. Dune's Greg Fraser won the top film prize at the American Society of Cinematographers 36th Annual ASC Awards. Coda won the top prize at the PGA, predicting a Best Picture win at the Oscars. CCA Super Awards winners were Superman No Way Home, which led the film categories and 3 wins, and Squid Game and WandaVision led the series wins with 3 each. The DGA Awards were awarded over the weekend. Jane Campion won for Power of the Dog. Maggie Gyllenhaal took home her first time feature prize. Attica got a prize for my boy Sam Pollard, and Barry Jenkins for The Underground Railroad. I'm also going to show you guys an interview from Master, which played at the South by Southwest Film Festival, starring my girl, Regina Hall. I have an interview with Kiki Palmer, who is in Alice. Those films dropped last week. And I also wanted to make you aware of, also at the South by Southwest Film Festival, I did some interviews for The Cherry Picks. So you can go to thecherrypicks.com or visit their YouTube channel to see a conversation I had there with the director and writer of Master, Mariamo Diallo, and stars Zoe Renee and Noah Fisher. And I also did one with the director and writer of A Lot of Nothing, Mo McCrae, and the stars Lex Scott Davis, who is Mo's beautiful wife, and Cleopatra Coleman. On this episode, I'm going to speak with Jordy Stank, who is the director of a documentary called I Am Here. Since I've done very little with women during this month, I'm trying to make up for it with Regina, Zoe, Kiki, and Irma Blumenthal, for which this documentary is based. She, honey, gives living life a whole brand new meaning, for real, for real. So let's get right on into it, shall we? That was a lot to say. I'm out of breath. I am truly out of breath. That is bananas. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the fact that Keke Palmer did this film called Alice, and it's a lot, but I'm gonna let you see the Keke Palmer interview on the YouTube channel. So if you go to the YouTube channel under one-on-one interviews, you will see my interview there with her for Alice, which is in theaters right now. And baby, she said cornucopia of Rosa, and I thought I would holler, but we had a good time. But right now, I'm going to play this interview for you from Master with Miss Zoe Renee. I'm loving the twist. It's so cute.
Thank you so
look
much.
all fluffy. You blending in with the background. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, girl. So let's get into talking about a little Master. There was something that I'm not sure if there was something that was said or if this was a note that I made. I don't remember, but something along the lines of just because you're not seeing something doesn't mean it's not there. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that is in line with racism. Racism is always there, but you don't necessarily see or feel it. And I feel like the way you choose to react to it kind of makes the difference. I also wanted to know, in line with that, what did it mean for you to inhabit Jasmine as being this young Black girl who saw herself as equal, but realizing that her cohorts branded her with a scarlet letter, so to speak? I don't know what happened with that interview, but we will go back to it at some point. But if we don't, then we will go on to Miss Regina Hall, because she is in Master and it's one of the films that played at the South by Southwest Film Festival. And I really want you guys to hear what she has to say. So without further ado, here's Miss Regina Hall. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to see you, and congratulations on everything. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much, Carla. Did you, when I saw you, it was at Hawke.
What'd you say?
I said, when I saw you, it was Sundance, Hawke.
No. When was the last time we...
It wasn't Hawke for Jesus? You didn't do Hawke for Jesus?
Yes. Hawke for Jesus. I thought, yeah. That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. So girl, I want to ask you this one question, because I know I'm going to talk to you a little later for something else, but there's this line where you say, I was never the master, I was the maid. And it's such a powerful statement, mostly because this undercover racism that kind of got unleashed during the whole Black Lives Matter movement and the pandemic has always proven that racism is prevalent, but it's also kind of undercover. But it also proves that how we react to it also has a big impact as well. So I just want you to speak to that statement and how you feel about when you how you react to something like that, and, you know, what choices you make in a reaction to something like that.
The depth of a dream but you've got to face the reality. Like, the dream was that you were going to come here and you were representing the face of change, of growth, of evolution, and that wasn't it at all. You're the same role you've always been, you know, but I loved how Mariama had the hope, because she does walk away from that. You know what I mean? I mean,
do.
With complete loss. I mean, you know what I mean? Look what it took for that to resonate. Yeah.
Look what it cost her in the end. And before we get up out of here, I got to know about these worms, the scene with them worms, girl. 'Cause I was like, okay, I cannot.
I know they were, the little the maggots. Yeah, they were real. They were not, they were actually real. We had a bunch of them, but you know, they don't like the cold, so they had to be heated up. I was telling somebody else, they were diva maggots. You had to put a little blow dryer on them for them to wiggle and react. Prior to that, they were just still like this. And then it was like, you know, you needed them to move. And then the guy was like, they don't like the cold. And he had his little blow dryer. He would come and heat them up and keep them toasty in order for them to act. For them to perform.
I hate you for even finding a joke and talking about something this serious. You are hilarious. And I just want to say I'm so proud of you for being EP and starring in this film. And I know how important it was for you to switch it up and have the industry see you in a different light. And they're going to be so excited. I'm so happy for you.
Oh, thank you so much. So much. So I'll be seeing you again, right?
Yeah. So I'll save my more important questions for that.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you later.
Okay. Thank you.
So when I said I was going to be seeing her again, it was for the cherry picks, and that didn't happen. So I'm glad I asked some pretty decent questions for that interview. But Master is streaming on Amazon Prime right now. Alice is in theaters right now. And before I get on with the next interview, which is from The Outfit, which is also in theaters right now, I want to talk a little bit about the South by Southwest Film Festival. I said I have a lot to tell you guys, and I just want to get into it and give as much information as I possibly can, because you know how I roll. Oh, child, what's going on with this hair? What's going on? Okay. So anyway, I saw a lot of documentaries at South by Southwest, and they had some really, really good ones. One of my favorites was one that was directed by Ethan Hawke called The Last Movie Stars, rather, plural, and it centers around Joanne Woodward and Paul Newman. And this is what I didn't know. I always associated Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward as being together, always, and never with other people. Paul Newman had another wife, was married before he married Joanne Woodward, and had a whole nother set of kids by his first wife. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Joanne and Paul were the understudies in the Broadway musical Picnic, and that's how they met. I also didn't know that while they were in that show, that Paul Newman got bumped up out of the understudy role into the lead, which consequently kicked off his film career. Ethan Hawke made this film at the request of one of Paul Newman's sons, and they had transcripts, tapes and tapes and tapes of transcripts where they'd interviewed all kinds of people. The transcript tapes were destroyed, but they had the written transcripts. So what Ethan Hawke did was he asked people like Martin Scorsese and George Clooney and Laura Linney and a whole host of other people to recreate these voices from these transcripts. And it was beautifully and tastefully done. When you get a chance to see, because it will come to light and I will let you know when it does, when you get a chance to see The Last Movie Stars, please make your way and see that film. I also saw a documentary about the kids in the hall, because, you know, my ex superstar co-star, Mark Mark McKinney is in that, and he was one of the kids in the hall. It's the project that kicked off his career, and it was really interesting to see how they got started. You know, all the stuff that happened in the middle, what's happened to all of them since then. And it was a Canadian troupe. You know, a lot of Canadian troops, comedy troops, came out of Canada over to the U.S., or people from those troops like Second City and a couple of other ones came over here and became really big stars on Saturday Night Live, Mark McKinney being one of them. So I watched that one. I watched a film called Sissy, which was a great film centering around social media and influencers and friendships, and how sometimes friendships can go sideways and it's not cute. It was a little bit of a horror film, which I didn't know, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit, but it was a good film nonetheless. I also saw a documentary called Mickey, the Story of Mickey Mouse. Broke my heart. I learned stuff about me. I thought I knew everything there was to know about Mickey Mouse, honey, but I do not. It is a beautiful, beautiful documentary that ends with a 2022 short that the animators at Disney did to honor Mickey Mouse's evolution over the years. So if you get a chance to check that out, check that out. I saw The Lost City with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, and consequently, Sandra Bullock announced last week or a week before last that she was going to take a break from movies. So I'm glad I got a chance to interview her and see that film when I did. I also saw a film called Apollo 10 and a Half by Richard Linklater. I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once starring Michelle Yeoh. I saw Seriously Red, which stars Bobby Cannavale. That movie was a trip. It was crazy, crazy, crazy. And I'm going to see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which stars Nicolas Cage. But I was really impressed with the skew of films that they had at South by Southwest this year. It was a lot more than I remember it being 2 years ago before the world went away. All right, so let's talk about this movie called The Outfit. The outfit is a film noir piece, which has a little bit of comedy to it, and it stars Dylan O'Brien and Zoe. And baby, when I tell you, we had the best fun, we had the best interview. But it's a film noirish kind of, and it has, I don't want to tell you what it's about because it kind of has a little twist to it that if I tell you, it's going to ruin it for you. But I suggest seeing it. It was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. But without further ado, listen to this interview with Zoe and Dylan. Like the James Cagney joints, the Humphrey Bogart joints, and of course, like The Godfather. So I'm just interested to know for Dylan and Zoe, what is your favorite film noir flick, if you have one, and why? I'll start with Zoe first.
Oh gosh, I think, you know what I think we should do? I think we should start with Dylan.
I'll go Godfather. If that's, I mean, I didn't even realize, I guess it's, you know, yeah, it's a mob flick. I never considered it film noir.
It's a period piece though.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, I'll go Godfather, and part 3 does not exist. But yeah, I mean, those, you know what I'm saying?
I do. That's why I laughed.
I gotta be honest, yeah. I'm not as big of a Godfather gal as everybody else is. I'm not, but it's a great movie, but it's my controversial. Somebody asked me recently, what's my most controversial stance? And I should have said that. I don't have a favorite. My favorite's the outfit, obviously.
Okay,
nice.
Girl, I will take that. I will take what I can get.
You don't have to like Godfather. You do whatever you want.
I know. I just was feeling spicy and like contrarian, and I was like, yeah.
It's all good in the hood. So tell me, how, since this is a period piece set in 1956, how much does your costume inform how you craft your character? So I will start with Zoe this time, or try to anyway.
I think the costume really informs your character in so many ways. I think your shoes, I think your undergarments. I was talking about this earlier, like my character's wearing sort of a corset-like thing. And as us ladies know, if you wear something super tight, it changes the way you walk, it changes the way you sit, it changes the way you breathe and speak even. And I think those little details that you maybe can't see even are really important and so helpful in creating and forming this person.
Yeah, I mean, it's every element in something like this just adds to you know, how you feel like you can come alive in your character. You know, like the smoking, the rings, the suits, the suspenders. You know, even like the set, the hair. Like it's just, there's like a lot of things. I remember like they're just in the way that like they were doing my hair. I remember like this. Like I would just like get to set and they're gonna kill me. I get to set and I was like doing this thing every day and it felt like my guy. And yeah, I don't know, just like it's sort of something like this with so much character around you, like it sort of informs like your entire character in a way for me.
And that is something, it is so important to continue to reiterate. Like it's, you know, you watch a movie and you see the actors doing their thing, whatever, but everybody around you is just, you know, it's such a team sport, and the caliber of people that we got to work with on this movie was so unbelievable. Everybody was just so good at their job and so special and kind and gentle and interested in collaboration on a level that was really healing, because it's not always that case. And like the hair and makeup team was so brilliant. The costume designer was just a dream, and everybody, the props, everybody was so great.
It's like a testament to like Graham's script. I think, you know, it was like amazing, you know, everyone who came on board to be a part of this. It's a very, you know, it's a very small movie that we shot in London, and like London like has a lot like of industry business going on too. Like, I mean, they shoot like, you know, Star Wars, Marvel stuff there. Like they've got like a lot, there's no shortage of like big productions in London, and we had like an outstanding crew. So that's like, I think really, I think a lot of people like really just showed up for, you know, the piece, it's the passion of the piece itself, and you could like feel that around, which is really cool.
Well, yeah, I wish I could talk to y'all for a little longer, but that's my time. And since we have St. Patrick's Day coming up from one last to a lad, happy St. Pat's Day, y'all.
Let's go.
Happy St. Patty's Day.
Bye. I love them. Okay, I owe you guys a better explanation for the outfit because what I said prior to that tape was busted. So the outfit is directed by Graham Moore. It's a Focus Features joint, and it is about this expert tailor who must outwit a dangerous group of mobsters in order to survive a fateful night. That is the gist of the outfit. I love mobster movies. I love anything film noir. I'm an old classic film buff. So, having said that, I loved this film, and you will love it when you see it too. Now, I'm going to try to go back to this interview with Zoe before we get into these interviews. Actually, you know what? I'll just let y'all watch Zoe on your own because we're already 30 minutes in and I don't want to keep you any longer. So let me go ahead and talk about this film with Jordy Stank. Jordy Stank is the director of a documentary called I Am Here, and it centers around a Holocaust survivor named Emma Blumenthal. Not Emma, Ella Blumenthal. I got the M's mixed up. Ella Blumenthal. If you ever pondered what it's like to live in your 90s and still have your wits about you and have your energy, then you want to meet Miss Ella Blumenthal, honey, because she gave me life. And I had to talk to Jordy about her. I had to talk about this film. We just covered it all. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, maybe get some tea because it's a long one. This is my interview with the director of I Am Here, Mr. Jordy Stank. I wanted to say how much I enjoyed this film. It really warmed my heart. And Ella is a trip. I kind of love her. I kind of love her. But what I'd really like to know from you is how did you find out about Ella's story?
So yeah, Ella's the best, really. She's like honestly, she's like a grandmother to me. But I was very privileged. I grew up in the same community as her. And you know, one Friday night I'll never forget. When I really met her for the first time, she stood up at the Friday night dinner table, and no one asked her to speak. You know, she just, you know, she made us all listen, and she started telling these harrowing stories of surviving the Holocaust, and everyone around the table was sobbing. You know, we didn't expect this just coming to a dinner, and then something really remarkable happened. It's almost like she flipped a switch because she was dancing, she was singing, she was playing with the kids, and she was just the life of the party. And I looked at this woman and I thought, how has someone been through one of the darkest moments in history, but she, you know, she's the light, and she was able to put a smile on all of our faces and just light up the room. So I just knew from a young age, I need to follow this woman. I need to befriend her. I need to, you know, just be as much around her as possible. And that was the start of a beautiful, beautiful friendship.
You know, Jordy, women like that, because they have been through the worst chapter in their life, there's no place else to go but up, you know. And when, you know, my mother is 82 and my mother lived through the Depression here in America, which was the darkest moment in her life. And my mother wakes up every day and it's Susie Sunshine. She's so annoying. But I love the fact that my mother is so exuberant and filled with so much joy for life, even at this juncture in her age. You know what I mean? Because some people that are Ella's age or my mother's age, they got broken hips, they got broken this, they got all kinds of health issues. And, you know, my mom has health issues, but she's still rocking and rolling. So I thank you for sharing that with me. I also wanted to know, what was the most important lesson that you learned from meeting Ella and documenting her story?
Wow, the amount that I've learned from her, it's almost indescribable. The impact she's had on my life is just incredible. But one thing that I've definitely learned from her is, you know, I'm trying very hard to take little fragments of her zest for life and to implement it in my own life. And whenever my wife and I, whenever we, you know, go through speed bumps in our life, or we're dealing with a difficult moment, we always look at one another and we say to one another, what would Ella do? You know, what would she say in this situation? And you know, that's able to get us through the moment, and you know, to look forward to a bright, beautiful future. So You know, that's, I think, my outlook on life has completely changed after meeting Ella. So that's been the most incredible thing.
My outlook on life has changed after meeting her, and I only met her cinematically. So there's that. Stephen Sondheim has a song called I'm Still Here. And some of those lyrics are very apropos to how you named the film, I Am Here. So I'm wondering if Stephen Sondheim's song or any of those lyrics from that song had any impact on why you named the film what you did.
Okay. So it's interesting. It's actually totally, I actually never knew that there was a song. By
I'm Still Here. You got to look it up. It's a great song. You know what? It's in that movie Postcards from the Edge with Shirley MacLaine. You can see it really quick there. And you listen to the lyrics, you'll be like, oh, okay.
Wow. Amazing. Because I love Sondheim. I love I'm saying some of the work, some of Sweeney Todd and some of his other musicals. I love it. So I'm gonna go after this and take a look. But I'll tell you the name of the film. It came actually from something that Ella says in being around her. Whenever she needs to muster up strength, she picks herself up and she says, in Hebrew, she says, Baruch Hashem ani po, which translates directly into, thank God I am here. And, you know, she throughout the whole process of filming her, she would keep saying it whenever she needed to exert energy. And, you know, we just thought it was the most amazing thing to title the film because, you know, she is still here. When the guard pulled her arm and looked at her number and says, are you still here? Because her number was such an old number. This is her response to that Nazi saying, you know, you wanted to destroy us, but I am here and I'm living in the present and I won't let my past define who I am.
One of the moments that sticks out in my brain, I'm glad that you brought that up. One of the moments that sticks out in my brain indelibly is that moment where you talk about how she got rid of the numbers on her arm and how she has that big gash in her arm. I'm like, I can't imagine what that must have taken to muster up the courage to do that. And then to look at that and then have that, instead of looking down and seeing those numbers, she still looks down and has some memory of that with that big gash in her arm. That struck me to my core. I was like, wow, it takes a certain kind of person and a certain type of tenacity, strength, and bravery to not only do that and be brave enough to do it, but to still look at it and be like, you know what, that was then and this is now.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because a lot of her having to get her tattoo removed was also just because of the stigma. You know, people saw Holocaust survivors as sort of damaged people or broken goods. So, you know, and in South Africa, because of the hot climate, you know, people are wearing short sleeves all the time. So her family were insistent on her removing that scar. But I think it's also one of the things that Ella says. She says that her telling her story, you know, it almost to her, you know, it feels like this wound, her telling her story. And the more and more she tells her story and is able to communicate her experiences and what she went through, you know, it's almost cathartic to her. And she feels like the scar of her reliving this trauma and telling her story, you know, she feels like the scars have almost healed. So yeah, it's amazing. It's really just incredible to be around Ella and to be able to, I feel like, to be honored enough to tell her story.
And then one last question. I love how you have that segment where you have those side-by-side pictures of her then and now. Did you have to coax her really hard to do that, or was she totally game?
Oh, she was totally game. She has more energy than us. I'll tell you. A funny story, when we were filming the swimming segment in the film, we were very weary. It's a 98-year-old woman swimming in a body of water. So we were like, Ella, you're going to take it very slow. You're going to do one length and you're going to stop. You're going to breathe. You're going to do another, and we'll take nice breaks. And she was like, no way, I'm not doing that. And she went and she did 10 lengths, and we were actually struggling to keep up with her. The camera like nearly fell into the water. That's how crazy it was. We were like being outswam by this 98-year-old woman. But that's how Ella is. You know, she has this remarkable energy, this boundless energy, and you know, she was game for everything. She was suggesting things. We were, you know, it was amazing to work with her because, you know, she would almost outshine us. You know, and whatever we wanted to do, she would say, "No, let's do this, let's do more, let's do." You know, so it was just incredible to be around her.
I think she is definitely the poster woman for how to live an exuberant life, no matter what age you are. And she definitely is the poster woman for age is nothing but a number, because her sheer existence proves that, you know, age is just, it really is just a mindset. You're only as old as you feel. And, you know, we have one life. We have one life and we got to make the best of it. There are no do-overs. There are no second chances. And so I'm so glad that you took the opportunity to document her story. And I'm hopeful, I'm very hopeful that this film will be like an anthem film for people that are feeling some kind of way about aging, and those people that may still be around that are Holocaust survivors that feel like damaged goods. Her story and her exuberance will help them feel a little better on the other side of that. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. It's been lovely speaking with you, Carla. Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome. All right. Speak to you soon. Okay, so I have been pronouncing Jordy's name wrong. I don't know why I wanted to have his name be wrong, but it's Jordy Stank, S-A-N-K. The film is called I Am Here, and it is exactly what I said. It's like an anthem film for anyone who feels that if you are of a certain age, life is over. No, baby, life has just begun. Just begun. Before I go on, I want to mention a couple of other films that I saw during the South by Southwest Film Festival. I saw a documentary called Jazz Fest New Orleans, which was absolutely fascinating. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I will have written reviews up of all of the films that I speak about at thecurvyfilmcritic.com. You can also find those reviews at Rotten Tomatoes. I will have these reviews up as well. Reviews for I Am Here. I will have a review. There is a review up of Audible. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Cheaper by the Dozen by Disney, which is directed by Gail Lerner, starring Zach Braff and Gabrielle Union. It is streaming on Disney right now. And The Outfit, Focus Features, directed by Graham Moore and starring Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch, and Dylan O'Brien as of March 18th. Those were in the theater. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Audible. Hoping you guys can see that. Audible. Audible is now nominated for a short documentary for the Oscars. And it's a coming of age story that follows the Maryland School of the Deaf high school football star, Amari McKinstry. He and his teammates battle on the field to maintain their unprecedented winning streak, while on all sides, they've got pressures of their senior year, the realities of transitioning into adulthood, and the hearing world beyond the field. This is streaming on Netflix. You can see it right now. I did an interview with one of its producers, Niall DeBarco, who I know from Dancing with the Stars, but he is also someone who is very integral and very important in the deaf community. The deaf community seems to be getting a lot of attention these days because of the movie Coda, which is a great thing. So yay for that. And there's that. So let me see, what is Brandon saying? Oh, Brandon's telling me that he also can't wait to go to animation school and practice drawing with his art studio desk in his basement. Congratulations, Brandon. Your drawings are beautiful. I always love when you send me some. They're absolutely great. All right. So you guys, the Oscars is happening this coming Sunday, March 27th. The Oscars is happening on March 27th on ABC. It's going down this Sunday. And I sat and spoke with Dave Karger from TCM. Now, you guys, and Dave Karger, we go back, and I had tried to do an interview with him once before, but for some reason I had forgot to hit the record button when we spoke before, and I only got 2 minutes of the interview, but I didn't forget this time. So he and I are talking about our best picks for Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. So here we go with TCM's Dave Karger. Cool. I remember doing TCM virtually through HBO Max, and it was the bomb. I enjoyed that so much. Now, just to switch really quickly into the Oscar nominations, because they're out now. We all know who's been nominated. There's been a couple of award shows that have gone down that are starting to give us a little inkling of how it might go down on March 27th. But before I do that, I just want to point out that in 2012 and 13, you were the Academy's official red carpet greeter on Oscar night, and you are only the third person to hold that post. So snaps and claps to you, Mr. Dave Karger.
Thank you. That was a total honor because Army Archer and Robert Osborne had done that before me, and then they asked me to come do it. And my job was to be on the carpet with a megaphone, loudspeaker, say, for all the Bleacher fans. So I got to interview everybody: Sandra Bullock, George Clooney, and Eli Wallach, who was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award that night. Very, very cool experience.
I love that. And congratulations on that honor. So let's get right into it. My prediction for Best Actor, I think it's Will Smith's to lose.
How can anyone beat him? I just don't see anyone beat. I mean, listen, Benedict Cumberbatch is incredible. Power of the Dog, his movie got the most nominations overall. They love that movie, but there's something about Will Smith. It's his third nomination. He's never won. He lost to Denzel 20 years ago. He's going to beat Denzel this time.
I think it's his time, definitely his time. Best Actress going in, I was thinking it was going to be Olivia Colman, but some things have kind of shifted, not for me, but shifted in terms of, I like who I like, but it's shifted a little bit, and it's looking like Jessica Chastain might upset that category.
I think so too. I was very bullish and still am a little bit on Nicole Kidman for being the Ricardos, because I think that they love this idea of the actress playing a real person, kind of like Meryl Streep for Iron Lady or Renee Zellweger for Judy. So I've never been super confident about this Olivia Colman prediction that everybody's had. I thought it was always going to be Nicole, but now Jessica Chastain winning that SAG award, and just I'm sensing like a little bit more people kind of coming back to that movie and appreciating it. And what's interesting, and I'm sure you know this, none of the 5 nominees for Best Actress are from a Best Picture nominated movie. So you can't, because a couple of years ago when Olivia Colman beat Glenn Close and everyone was so shocked, you can in retrospect say, well, yeah, it makes sense Olivia Colman won. She was from the movie The Favorite, which had gotten all these nominations.
Exactly.
She was the only nominee from her movie. This time you can't say that. All 5 of these women are from movies that didn't get a ton of overall love. So it's tough to say. I think it's either Jessica or Nicole. I would put Olivia Colman third, and I think it's going to be Jessica.
I'm going to let you have that one because we could go into a serious debate on that one, but I want to get to the other ones because, I like what I like I said earlier. Let's talk a little bit about Best Picture. Now, Coda is starting to upset things, but going into it again, I thought it was going to be Belfast.
Me too. I mean, I thought Belfast kind of had it in the bag. It won the Toronto Festival. It was getting all this attention, but it's been, I have to say, underperforming a little bit in these latest rounds of the season. It's my favorite movie. I love it.
Me too.
It didn't win any SAG awards. It got 7 nominations at the Academy, but that's fewer than I thought it would get. Katrina Balfe and Jamie Dornan not getting nominated was that was a knock on the movie. And then Coda beat it at the SAG awards. So gosh, here's what I think. I think Power of the Dog is going to win. And I think if Belfast and Coda were not both nominated, I think the fans who like the more sentimental movie would have picked Belfast or would have picked Coda. But because both of those movies are up, I think they're going to kind of share the votes. And I think Power of the Dog is going to win.
Okay, speaking of Power of the Dog, I'm still holding firm for Belfast because I think that either Jane Campion or Kenneth Branagh is going to take Best Director.
Well, I definitely think Jane Campion is going to win director no matter what happens. And one thing I do think could happen, and I'm really hoping it does, is that Jane Campion wins adapted screenplay for Power of the Dog and Kenneth Branagh wins original screenplay for Belfast. Ken Branagh's competition mainly, I would say, is Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza. But I think that since a lot of people are maybe expecting Power of the Dog to win because it got so many more nominations than anything else, I think they might give him original screenplay, which is, thank God, at least he'll win an Oscar for that great movie.
Well, I'm thinking, I agree that Belfast will get Best Original Screenplay. I'm thinking adapted screenplay is going to go probably for Lost Daughter, though. I'm thinking it's going to be The Lost Daughter. And I also think that that's gonna be one. Those two categories are gonna be some upset categories. And to your point about a film getting a lot of nominations, The Color Purple had like somewhere between 11 and 13 nominations and won nothing.
Nothing.
So, that can always happen too. Yeah. So Best Supporting Actor, it's looking like Troy is probably going to sweep it, but I still have a soft spot in my heart for Cody Smith-McPhee and Kieran Hines.
I know. They're both great. And coming out of Telluride Film Festival, it was like, oh, Cody Smith-McPhee, he's an Oscar winner. No question. He's got it. Because Coda had already come out. We already knew how great Coda was, but I think now there's this groundswell a little bit for Troy Kotsur, for the history of it all, that he would be the first deaf actor to win, in his category or any male acting category. Cody Smith-McPhee, I think, is great, and he's certainly the character you want to talk about. But the more you look at The Power of the Dog, he's also not this warm and fuzzy character, whereas Troy Kotsur is just such a charming character. I think that kind of gives him the edge.
I kind of agree, but I still have a soft spot for Kieran and Cody. And Cody's young, so he's got plenty of time, and he's great. Last but not least, and I know that that Best Supporting Actor category is always a little tricky because we always think it's going to turn out one way and then it turns out differently. Like when Mark Rylance won over Sylvester Stallone, right?
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So with Best Supporting Actress, I think this might be like an instance like the one I just mentioned. Ariana DeBose has been slaying every single awards everywhere, but I still feel like Ingenue Ellis might pull up the rear and pull an upset. I'm feeling like she might.
I don't think that's going to happen, but if it did, I know, and I love her. It's a possibility only because sometimes one performance can help another, and because everyone's going to be voting for Will Smith, I think there could be some people who say, "Oh, great, and weren't they great together in those scenes?" And then they check them both. But I do think that West Side Story does have a lot of supporters, and this is its best shot to win. So kind of like when Tilda Swinton won for Michael Clayton, that was that movie's only real shot to win an Oscar. I think that helped her. I think that can help Ariana DeBose. And God, she's good though.
She is good. Maybe there'll be a tie. Let's hope for a tie, because that would make it really interesting if there was a tie, because I love both of them so much. I know them both from the theater world. I know Ariana from the Broadway world that I used to inhabit in. And I know Ingenue because we used to audition against each other for things when I was an actress in New York. So I've known her for years. So I'm just kind of like this for both of them because I love them so much. Dude, I could talk Oscars and movies and performances with you all day long, but I know you got to get back to that TCM set. You got to get the coins that are paying the bills from the network that is paying you. But before we go, tell everybody where they can find you on TCM and remind them about 31 Days.
Yeah, so 31 Days of Oscar is all month long, the whole month of March. Oscar-winning movies, 24 hours a day, no commercials, no editing. I'm on every Saturday afternoon starting at noon Eastern, and every Monday night starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a dream job. And hopefully I'll see you at the Critics' Choice Awards on Sunday.
Yes, you will. I'll make sure I come and give you a big hug, and we're going to have to do a selfie so I can throw it up with this interview.
I look forward to it. I'm sitting with J.K. Simmons.
Ooh, nice. Smell you. I have no idea where I'm sitting. I'm probably be in the scrub section somewhere in the back. I have no idea.
Well, let's find each other. Great to see you.
All right. Great to see you too. I love talking to Dave Karger because he just keeps it real. And we always have a really excited discussion when we're talking about films and who's going to win and that kind of thing. So please check out 31 Days of Oscar on Turner Classic Movies, as well as my boy Dave Karger on the network too. So having said that, I want to talk about a few more films before we get up out of here. Another film that is in theaters right now is called Deep Water. It's a 20th Century Studios film directed by Adrian Lyne and starring Ana de Armas and Ben Affleck. It's like a little thriller mystery action. And Better Nate Than Ever is on Disney Plus. It's streaming right now by Tim Federale. Baby, I love this movie. It's about this little 13-year-old boy named Nate Foster who can't even get the lead role in his high school play. Like, they literally cast him as a tree, but then he ends up taking a trip to New York with his best friend and ends up getting the lead in a Broadway musical. The whole journey is hilarious. As y'all know, I'm an actor. it just made me laugh out loud because there were so many things that I resonated with as an actor that comes from musical theater that it literally made me holler out loud. So let me just recap what I have told you to watch. Please make your way over and watch Master, which is streaming right now on Amazon Prime. Check out Alice with Miss Kiki Palmer. Check out Ella about Miss Ella Blumenthal. And check those out. And then I also want to talk to you about, let me come back over here so I can get it together. Come on now. I'll keep clicking it. It's not clicking. So just to reiterate, this is where I was sitting at the Critics' Choice. So I wasn't exactly in the scrub section, but I was close enough. And I was just happy to be in the room, straight up. Really just happy to be in the room. I also wanted to let you guys know that next week I'm going to talk to the stars of and directors of, guess what film it is? Guess what? Morbius. So I'm talking to Jared Leto. I'm speaking with Matt Smith. I'm speaking with Adria, and I'm speaking with the director named Daniel. I'm speaking with all of those people. Jared Leto had me cracking up out loud. He is crazy, crazy, crazy. And then after that, you guys, after I do this show after the Oscars, I'm going to take a little bit of a break because your girl is broke down and tired. I am just really kind of worn out. So again, check out all the interviews that I do on camera or on this YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications if you are on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on LinkedIn. Subscribe. Help a sister out. And check out my interviews over at the Cherry Picks. The ones I said before are with Master Director Mariama Diallo and stars Zoe Renee and Noah Fisher. You can also catch that interview that for whatever reason wouldn't play today of Zoe Renee on my YouTube channel in the one-on-one interview section. And also check out A Lot of Nothing, the conversation that I had with director Mo McRae and the stars Lex Scott Davis and Cleopatra Coleman. That was a lot, y'all. It really was. That was a lot. So, that is it for this episode of The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I'm your host, Carla Renata. I'm so glad that you made time to stop by and join me. And I will see you the day after the Oscars. And hopefully I'll be talking about how Will Smith got that gold, honey. All right. Until the next time, love, peace, and hair grease, y'all. Bye.